The time comes of whether you're team drumette or team flat. A lot of people will say, of course, the drumette. It's meatier, it's juicier. But the flat, while it has less meat, has more skin, and it's got the 2 bones. So the meat all around those 2 bones is very tender. Hey everyone, it's Kaitlin from The Walks of Life, and today we've got a little change from our usual programming of Chinese home cooking. We are making air fryer buffalo wings. Your girl loves buffalo wings. My mom would buy this cottage brand of frozen buffalo wings that would show up at our local ShopRite. Those wings were so good, they were juicy, they were perfectly spicy, and of course, my mother being my mother, she would serve them with a side of stir-fried veggies and white rice. And trust me, that combo is delicious. And don't think that you should leave out the blue cheese dressing, because the blue cheese dressing with the wings and the rice, so good. Now, we also have cousins who live in Buffalo, New York. So we've been to Duff's. They're just okay, in my opinion. We've been to the Buffalo Wing Festival where we ate the gamut of buffalo wings. And I think that these air fryer buffalo wings are right up there. I think they taste great. I think they're perfectly balanced. I think that they're crispy, but not too crispy. They're still juicy, and there's layers of flavor with the classic buffalo wing dressing. Let's discuss what makes a good buffalo wing. We're looking for the right balance of juicy and crispy. Sometimes they're just over fried. I'm like, where's the meat? It's like you give me this desiccated little tiny wing and it just doesn't taste good. We're looking for layers of flavor. I personally like the classic Frank's Hot Buffalo Sauce with butter. Now, the key there is that that's not the only flavor. We have some seasonings that we're gonna marinate the wings with. Just has to marinate for 30 minutes. Garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, key ingredient, smoked paprika, which gives it that extra dimension of flavor, and some thyme. And we're looking for spice, but spice that's not overpowering or too sour. When I make buffalo wings, normally laziness overtakes me and I reach for the Ken's chunky blue cheese dressing. But today I'm gonna try making a homemade blue cheese dressing. It's sour cream, mayonnaise, a little bit of milk or buttermilk. It's got blue cheese, of course, a little bit of garlic perhaps, and it's got a little lemon juice, and it's just gonna be the perfect dressing to dip these buffalo wings into. I opened up the wings and I'm just patting them dry. I did rinse them a little bit. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but patting dry is an important step. Wings have gotten really expensive, to be honest. Like, each of these packs of wings was about $12. Now, it seems like a lot, but if you see the final amount of wings that we're gonna end up with, this is many orders of restaurant wings. The value of making them at home really can't be beat. Some of these aren't as dry as I want them to be, so I'm just gonna squeeze them in my hand and that's enough. As you can see, I've bought the already separated wings, so that takes a little bit of work out of the prep. If you have whole wings, it is best to just separate them into the drums and the flats. All right, so we're ready to marinate the chicken wings, and this part's really easy. Just a few spices that you probably have hanging around. The one that you might not have hanging around is the smoked paprika, but it's so easy to find these days and it really adds a nice flavor. If all you have is regular paprika, it won't taste the same, but you'll still get a nice color from it and a little bit of flavor. So we need 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Next, I'm gonna need 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. I need 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. This is actually from our garden, so I'm just gonna like grind it up between my hands as I put it in, or my palms like this. Just adds a little something. And then lastly, we need 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm gonna make it a finer setting on my grinder because I actually don't want a big peppercorn bit. Just a few good turns, I say. So this is 4 pounds of wings, and I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way and mix it with my hands. If you wanna make these ahead, you can marinate them for as long as overnight or as little as 30 minutes. There's so much flavor that comes out in the end result. Usually, I feel like marinating meat is kind of to help the salt get in, but there's no salt here. There's plenty of salt in the buffalo sauce, so we actually don't need more. I see a few feathers here. Ooh, just gonna get those. You get 3 dozen wings out of this recipe. Plenty for a party. So we're gonna marinate these for 30 minutes, just covered in the fridge. See you later. So it's been 30 minutes and we are ready to load our wings into the air fryer. Now, depending on the size of your air fryer, this is the part of the recipe where it gets a little tedious because you do have to do it in batches, but it's actually kind of good because if you have a party, you can just toss the ready batch in the buffalo sauce and then you serve it up and then you get the next batch going, and by the time everybody's done with that batch of wings, you got more wings.
And they're fresh.
And they're fresh. So I just do a single layer, and they don't have to be like so spaced out. And the great thing about the chicken wings is that all that fat in the skin is gonna be just fine to crisp them up. You don't have to brush them with oil, none of that. So now we're gonna air fry them at 400 degrees for 22 to 25 minutes. If you want them more juicy, go 22 minutes. If you want them more crisp, go 25 minutes. It's up to you. So I'm gonna load these up. Now, classically, a buffalo wing is deep fried. Personally, I think that sometimes that can rob the chicken wing of all of its juiciness, so I really love the air fryer for that reason. They turn out a little bit crisp on the outside. You don't need any coating. If you don't have an air fryer, you can make them in the oven, and I'll put those instructions right here. So to make the buffalo wing sauce is actually really easy. We're just gonna melt butter in the microwave, and then we're gonna add our buffalo hot sauce, whisk, and then it's ready to be tossed on the wings. I'm just gonna get half a stick of butter here. And I like doing this in a measuring cup because it's easy to pour and it's easy to measure. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna do it in like 15-second increments. I'm just gonna watch it because I don't want it to splatter. My dad's gonna kill me if he sees splatter on the microwave. I think I'm the worst offender in the household. And actually butter, once it kind of melts to a certain point, if you just mix it, it'll finish melting. You know, you don't have to have the butter like boiling in the microwave. So I just hear a little bubbling sound, so I'm gonna take it out. So we've got a 1/4 cup of butter, that's a half a stick. Now I'm gonna get my buffalo sauce in there, and we need a half a cup. So this is technically enough sauce to make about 3 dozen wings. You know, if you have leftover, just put it in an airtight container in the freezer, and then you can take it out later and thaw it and use it again. I've definitely done that before. Like if you think your appetite for wings is a little bigger than it is, then you have some leftover. 1/4 cup line, I'm gonna fill to the 3/4 cup line. Glug, 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 glug. When it comes to the buffalo wing sauce, sometimes my mom's critique is that it's too sour, i.e. there's too much vinegar. Frank's Hot, can't really go wrong with this one. I think it's the one to buy. You can actually buy these gigantic bottles at Costco, and that's really good if you're a big wing hound. So I'm just gonna whisk it. You wanna whisk it until the butter and the hot sauce is like well emulsified, because you don't want it to be like separated in any way. You want it to be one cohesive sauce, so then when you toss it on the wings, it just like coats them. So that's it. So now we're ready to make our blue cheese dressing, and I need about 4 ounces of blue cheese, so that's just a little under half of this package, so I'm just gonna cut it. So now I'm just gonna break it into crumbles using a fork and knife. Don't gotta be perfect.
What kind of blue cheese is that?
Just blue.
It's not like gorgonzola or like...
No, I debated the gorgonzola versus blue cheese. And if you prefer a more mild experience, go for the gorgonzola, but if you like the pungent strength of blue cheese, go full hog, I say. And the key to a good blue cheese dressing, I think, is really just those like simple seasoning. Like you wanna make sure it has enough salt. You wanna make sure that it has a little tang from the lemon juice. And then garlic is actually kind of an overlooked ingredient. Most of the blue cheese dressing is actually sour cream. So I'm gonna use about a half a cup, most of this 8-ounce package, because I already dipped into it yesterday. And then I need a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Did anybody else see that? 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. That's about a 1/4 cup. I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a mix to combine everything. And now I'm gonna go in with the garlic. So you need like 1 clove of garlic. I have a really big clove here because I'm gonna run it through the grater and I just wanna have something to hang on to, but I'll probably use maybe a little over half. And that should be good. Now I'm gonna put some salt and pepper. I'm gonna start with like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and see where that gets me. Now for the pièce de résistance, the blue cheese. I'm just gonna put all this blue cheese in, I guess. Seems like a lot.
It's not.
Okay. Sarah's goading me. Sarah's spurring me on.
It's gotta be chunky.
Sometimes you need somebody to make sure you got the nerve to put all the blue cheese in. One key ingredient for a blue cheese dressing is a splash of buttermilk or milk, and I definitely can see why, because this is thick. We have a fair bit of heavy cream left over from our holiday cooking, so I'm just gonna splash in like a tablespoon. You can also use whole milk. Whoa, okay. So one thing that is gonna help us get that like buttermilky tang on top of the sour cream is just a little squeeze of lemon juice. So I'm gonna get that seed. So you'll often see like a buttermilk substitute is milk mixed with like a teaspoon of vinegar. So that acidity with the dairy kind of creates that buttermilk taste. We're kind of doing the same thing here with the lemon juice. And that is my on-the-fly blue cheese dressing. First time I tried to make it, I got scared off. And I was like, just use Ken's, but this is really good. So I did have a peek at the wings earlier while I was making the dressing, and we're 2 minutes shy of our 23 minutes, but I think they're done. Ooh. So I got my gigante wing bowl. It might seem like overkill, but you kind of do want a bigger bowl because if you want to toss the wings, and also you want as much of a shield as you can between you and your clothes. So I'm just gonna load all the wings into the bowl. And they're so crispy. We did nothing to deserve this level of crispiness. All we did was use the air fryer. So I've got all my wings in the bowl. I have my blue cheese sauce at the ready and celery. Once the buffalo sauce goes on the wings, you wanna be ready. We'll probably have 3 batches, so I'm gonna pour about 1/3 of the sauce and see where that gets me. You just like gently toss them. So that doesn't look like quite enough, so maybe I was a little too shy with the sauce. So you can also toss them with tongs. It's a little less messy that way. And you just see how that butter just settles into the chicken, and it looks so good. Wow. I mean, they're still steaming. I'm gonna take a brief sidebar to cut us some celery. The celery is really for when there's no wings left and people are still desperate for that flavor and they need a little something. So we're gonna serve.
That's how what you see it as?
That is absolutely the way I see it. It's true.
It's a refreshing palate cleanser between wings.
Yeah, but we all know that the celery is for the person who maybe waited a little too long to move in on the wings. So I'm just gonna put all the wings in my little serving dish. And you see what I mean? This is 1 batch of wings out of the air fryer. And this is plenty to keep people busy while you make another batch. Maybe a few there. And I got my sauce. And these are my air fryer buffalo wings. They smell so good.
They're not just air fryer buffalo wings. They are the buffalo wings.
That's true. This is the only buffalo wing that you need. Let's try it. I'm just gonna spoon a little blue cheese on, or a lot. I'm gonna regret this in a second. Wow. This is honestly the first time I've perfected my blue cheese, and it's really good.
Juicy, folks.
So dang juicy. And honestly, like, if you're neglecting those little knuckly bits, you're crazy. Another thing that I want to talk about is once these wings are done, how they're eaten. I've never been more disgusted.
Kaitlin's friends, you know who you are.
You know when you go out with friends to eat chicken wings, and sometimes people feel a little shy, holding up that wing and gnawing into it like a little animal? Don't feel shy, because that's the way that you eat a chicken wing. Now I got a little chicken lollipop. You don't take 1 bite out of each side and then consider it done. You gotta clean that bone. Chances are, if you're here watching this, you've seen my dad's Chinese takeout chicken wing video where he talks about the right way to eat a chicken wing, and that bone best be clean at the end. If you're a proud member of the Clean Bone Club, welcome. If you're not, get in line. See that? Clean Bone Club. Buffalo wings are obviously a big like game day snack, but once you try this recipe, you're gonna be making buffalo wings all the time. I like knowing that it came out of my own kitchen, you know? There's no wait time. Like every time I get a delivery buffalo wing, maybe they were good at one point, but by the time they get to me, they're a little dry and they're a little sad. Consider this your sign to take up the homemade buffalo wing.
That's what it's supposed to look like, y'all.
So for the full recipe, you can visit us at our website, thewalksoflife.com. And if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like and subscribe for more. Thanks, everybody. I remember back in the day when we had buffalo wing night, my mom would actually buy this like,
Tyson.
no, I don't know what you're smoking. That never happened.
There was Tyson wings. I'm not crazy.
And some thyme.
Thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, not
Thyme. We call for thyme. So, in case you couldn't tell just by looking at me, I've eaten a lot of buffalo wings.